one of the greatest running backs of all time, Eric Dickerson. Eric, how much truth is in that quote?
I don't think there's any truth in that. And, when I hate the word anonymous. If you're going to say it, say who you are. Just put it out there. So I said it, and I mean it. When I look at Zeke, Zeke is still, I think, a great back. I think when you look at the things that has happened, his first season, he had one of the greatest seasons as a rookie ever had, the second greatest, actually, to mine, I got to say. And then, you look at his that football team, that was one of the best football teams in the league that year. I actually thought they had a chance to go to the Super Bowl. The next year he had the legal problems, the holdout, and all that stuff that come along with it. So, when you look at all that to go along with it, it's not all about Zeke, because Zeke, I think, is still that same back, but for some reasons, with the holdouts, the legal problems, all that plays a factor. I can think about when I held out in '85. I came back and I was in shape, but and Shannon, you know this, you can't get in football shape. That's the hardest thing. You just cannot get in football shape. And I think one of the big things is the schemes they run. The Cowboys are a run-first football team. They talk about Zeke being 60 to 70%. The schemes are not good running the football. I think losing Bill Callahan was a big no-no. I mean, I look at the Cowboys. If they had Bill Callahan, I really believe that Zeke could put up 16 to 17, possibly 1,800 yards this year, because running the football, and I say this all the time, it's an art. It's not just about lining up and beating the man over you. Sometimes you have those games where you have to look, I've got a game where we just going to slug it out. It's a slugfest. And then you got a new offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore, who's like our Faye. He likes to throw the football. That's just the facts. He wants to throw the football. So I think it's a lot of factors, not just Zeke. But I tell you, to me, the main thing is, the big no-no to me is Zeke pulling himself out of the game after he has a 20-yard run. I don't like that. I mean, because when you watch some of the clips, he leaves the game. They might be on the 10-yard line. All of a sudden, they're going in, they're looking strong. And now
Preach it.
I can go back I just told this story yesterday. It's been times when we'd run the ball 6, 7 times in a row, and I am taking such deep breaths. And you know this, Shannon. If you run down the field, you're going, and also you get that
on going.
I just stop breathing. Okay, hand it off again. And I think that to me is one of the drawbacks on Zeke. He can't be taking himself out of football games.
Yeah, because you didn't want nobody else to get them yards. You like, I don't ran it out here. I'm getting this ball in the end zone.
I'm getting that touchdown.
Edie, I agree with you, Edie. I don't think Zeke has changed much. I think the offensive has changed in the evolution because Dak throws the ball more. Edie, when you were in your prime early in the Rams, you guys probably rushed for more yards than you passed for because that's how it was. But now Zeke is rushing for 1,300 yards. They threw for almost 5,000 yards. There's only 2 other running backs that's ever enjoyed that type of rush season when the quarterback is thrown for 4,900 yards or more. That's Le'Veon Bell in 2014 and Marshall Faulk in 2000 and 2001. So it's hard. Plus the fact, Edie, if you guys ever fell behind by 14 or 20 points, that took you out of the game because now we got to throw to get back into the ball game. You can't run your way into the game. You can run the clock and take the air out of the ball so the other team doesn't possess it, but you fall behind like the Cowboys were falling behind last year. 28 against Green Bay, 17 at Buffalo. They fall behind all these games, 14 to Minnesota. Skip, you can't run the ball. But if you look at Zeke's numbers are very comparable as far as 10-yard runs, basically 8 carries. He averages a 10-yard run. His first 3 years was 7.9. Last year was 7.9. He's 4.5 yards per carry, but he's carrying the ball 3 fewer times per game over 16 games, which is 48 carries, 4.5 yards. So you're looking at roughly about 250 yards right there. 250 added on to 1,350, you're looking at 1,600, and nobody's talking.
Nope, right, nobody's talking about that.
My turn. Eric Dickerson, I have told you to your face, I believe you are the greatest running back who ever played in this league. And I want so badly to agree with your opening assessment. You see no drop-off in Ezekiel Elliott. I love my man Zeke. I still have his little picture on my nightstand next to my bed. But I got to tell you, and I'm going to put my name to it. This isn't an anonymous quote. I saw about 70% of the Zeke I saw in his rookie year last year.
Come on, Skip.
I never saw quite right. After that holdout, came late. As I kept telling Shannon, it looks like he's still running in Cabo sand. And you went down there, Eric, to talk to him, to see him at the resort in Cabo. And you saw him work out, and you told us you thought he looked pretty good. And when he first got in, and when he first signed, I thought he looked pretty good. And then to both of your points, there's sand shape, there's beach shape, and then there's National Football League shape. And Eric, to your point, where he just tore my heart out was it Thursday night against Chicago, at Chicago? Yeah, it was a Thursday night game.
Yeah, every night.
Okay, so they're at Chicago. They're in the game late in the second quarter, and Zeke busts off his biggest run of the game, one of his biggest runs, I think, of the whole year, 32 yards. And they say, give it to him again. And they hand it to him, and he gets 4 yards. And he gets up out of the pile, and he waves to the sideline.
Killed me.
I'm done.
Killed me.
I'm gassed. And I just rolled on the floor. I said, and I thought Eric Dickerson. You think Eric Dickerson's taking himself out at that point? He might be heaving in the huddle, but he's going to say, give me the rock because I earned the right to take it home. What are you doing? That felt like fat cat syndrome, where you said, I got my money, I got my $90 million, I'm good. I just need to go take a blow. I got to rest a little bit. I'll get him next time. Stop it. So, Eric, in the end, I'm sorry, I didn't see that guy. And here's my favorite stat, or my least favorite stat of the year. On first downs last year, Ezekiel Elliott had the second most carries in all of pro football. His average yards per rush on first down ranked 19th. Do the math. Second most carries, 19th best yards per carry on first down. You know what that meant? Second and 11, second and 10, second and 9. You're playing behind the chains. You tried to establish the run, and you failed. And all of a sudden, you're behind. And in the second half, what's going to happen? You're not going to run 21 anymore. You're going to let Ford throw it and throw it. And maybe to Shannon's point, he's going to pile up a whole bunch of empty calorie garbage yards.
Yep. Well, hello, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, as well as Joe Bear in the house. And as always, I want to thank you guys for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally does not work. Let's get open for business here. Let's wake up the football gods here on this Monday night. How's everybody doing? William, I'm doing good, man. Georgia, how you doing, Georgia? Okay, how's everybody doing? Brian SoCal, my man Brian, what's up? Brandon, David, what's up, man? Frederick, Maryland, checking in, man. Brandy, that damn Howard Floyd. What happened to the work video today? Oh, man, I didn't get it out. I'm sorry, man. I'm actually mad, Howard. I screwed up. I had day number 5. I had edited it and all that, right? And I hadn't uploaded it, and I accidentally erased it, and I lost it. What's up, cuz? Hey, wait. Hold on. You're a fan of the team in Washington. You're not that SK fan. That don't exist no more. That don't exist, man. You can't use that anymore. My son let me know. You can't say that anymore, okay? Even your boy Doc Walker has realized, I mean, he's even putting foot in people's asses about the name. He said he might still wear the logo until they force him not to, but he's not saying the name no more because he said, hey, that's a derogatory name. So don't use it no more, cuz. What's up, Miss Jackie? Ethan, what's up? So, Mark Therese, how you doing? Alan, what's happening? So, to rehash some of the stuff that Skip had. Skip actually made a great point in this thing. This is actually the first time I had heard all this because I try not to listen to too much of Skip and Shannon because it causes brain damage. But, you know, it's amazing because he talked about Zeke Elliott on first down. On first down, being 19th best in the NFL on first down. And part of that's not really on Zeke Elliott as much as it is being predictable. You understand what I'm saying? If teams know it's first down, the Cowboys are going to run a first down, what are we going to do? We're in between storms right now, Dave. Dave, the rain came through. In fact, I was going for a walk on the trail. There's a tree across the trail. There's a tree down across the trail. Blew my umbrellas across the way, knocked over plants. It was bad. It was bad. But here's the thing. Teams understood that the Cowboys would run on first down Zeke Elliott, or a high probability, in which case teams were waiting for it. So I'm not sure that I blame all that on Zeke Elliott not getting a lot of yards on first down, because it was predictable. And that doesn't go back to Dak and Zeke. That goes back to the coaching. See, here's what's so crazy about it. I want you to think about the Ram game. When we played against the Rams, actually, hold on. Let me see if I can do this. I don't know if I can find. I wish I had thought about this before. You know what? I'm gonna do. You know what? It'll be too long for me. I'm not gonna do it now, but I'll do it in another video. But see, I'm gonna tell you the difference between the Ram game versus the Eagles game. The Rams game, on the first 3 drives, the first drive, we lined up in I formation, typical Dallas Cowboys, and we were going to run up the middle. At least that's what it looked like. That's what the Rams were expecting, right? Right? That's what they're expecting. But they ended up doing play action, and they threw it out to Jason Witten. It picked up 6-7 yards. Not a whole lot. It wasn't like a big play. But it was different than what we normally do. On that drive, the first drive, I think we got stopped at the 50-yard line because we ended up trying a deep route to Michael Gallup, and he couldn't hold on to it. But that drive set the tone. Because of the first 3 drives, I believe we got 2 touchdowns. Because we used play action like crazy. We literally picked them apart with play action. And it got the Rams out of kilter. And what happened is, then all of a sudden, because you've spread the field out, because you weren't running Zeke Elliott on first down, all of a sudden, they don't know where it's coming from. Enter the next week, we play the Eagles. We don't do play action. I think we did play action 7% of the time with a quarterback with a hurt shoulder. So we either tried to run Zeke up the middle, or we kept trying to do all these deep routes. And it didn't work. But Nardo. True, the Eagles were away, but we've owned the Eagles away. And play action works even better on the road because, again, you know what you're going to do with it. You are going to fake the dive. The problem is we too many times are trying to run against 8-man fronts against the defense. And just to skip. Put it. Now it's 2nd and 9 or 2nd and 11. So now all of a sudden, instead of getting a couple of yards, so that way it's 2nd and short, now it's 2nd and 11, 2nd and 9. These aren't great positions that you want to be in. And we were constantly in those positions because we continued. Because Jason Garrett, understand this, Jason Garrett never changed shit. He didn't believe in analytics, in-game analytics. They have a game plan. We're going to run Zeke on first down. Hopefully we get 4 or 5 yards, and then we can work from there. But more times than not, last year we didn't get him. And I have to agree with Eric Dickerson 100% on that Zeke Elliott, there were too many times in critical situations where Zeke's had a couple of good runs, and hey, give me a blow. No. When I think about Emmitt Smith, the all-time leading rusher, the Hall of Famer, I remember him separating his shoulder against the Giants in the playoffs and not coming out. Literally, arm just dangling, but still out there grinding every single play. When I talked to my man Lincoln Coleman, who's the backup running back, Lincoln didn't get that many carries because Zeke wasn't coming off the field. Lincoln Coleman. Huh? I'm sorry, because Emmitt wasn't coming off the field. You don't. I mean, that's the way we played. You know, when they say come off the field, it's like, no, keep him on the sideline. I ain't coming out. This is my team. I'm gonna be the one to win this. Zeke too many times last year was like, you know, because remember, oh my God, this clip has just brought so many bad memories. I remember against the Eagles. No. Zeke finally started running the second half, got a couple of good runs in. And remember Fletcher Cox?
That's the same game that
Fletcher Cox got turned around and his elbow hit Zeke and literally hyperextended.
That's the same game that Tony Pollard was out.
Yeah, okay. No.
Yeah, it was.
Was it?
Yeah, it was. And they had what's his name?
No, that was another one because we had we had Alualu, who was in there where Zeke should have been in because Tony Pollard was earlier in the season. That was another one. But Fletcher Cox hyperextended his elbow, got carried off the field. Zeke was like, yo, I need a break. Fletcher Cox went under the tent, got treatment, came back out on the field, and Zeke was still on the sidelines.
What about Ertz?
And Zach Ertz went to the locker room and everything because it was one of those ones that's like, how is it the defensive lineman that hyperextended his elbow is back on the field, and Zeke, who hadn't really run very well in the first half, he's still on the sidelines? That showed me a lack of desire. Sean, you're 100% right there. You're 100% right. And, you know, this is where yesterday some idiot from the Eagles, some blogger over there was talking about, yeah, you know, the Eagles, you know, we beat the Jets so many times. Cowboys haven't beat the Jets since 2007. And he's showing the clips from that game. He's like, your quarterback didn't do anything. My quarterback was on the ground because they let him hit him illegally. They, in fact, fined 2 of the players the next week for unnecessary roughness. But we didn't get a single call. Chuck Benson, thank you very much for the super chat. Mark, can you give me a shout out to my wife, Kimberly? We are going to be fine. Dak is going to light it up. I agree. Kimberly, shout out to you. How you doing, Kimberly? You got a great man there. Okay, so there were times, and these are some of those things that nobody talks about, although this is the first time. Nobody talks about those because I remember Alualu, I got to figure out which game that was, but Alualu was in because Tony Pollard was injured. Tony Pollard was injured. It was Zeke. That was it. Zeke was the only running back. Zeke's on the sideline. It's a big third down. We got Alualu who runs the wrong play because he never plays. And Zeke's on the sideline. There was another game where it was third down and short. It was actually second down and short and third and short. Both times Zeke Elliott's on the sideline, and we got Alualu. We had Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard fumbles. The Vikings game. There you go. So there's several games. Thank you, Brandy. I'm remembering these ones, but there's so many times where Zeke was on the sideline. And if Zeke Elliott is getting that big-ass contract, I need you to show up. But we turn around and say, oh, well, Dak Prescott didn't deliver. Well, if your team was built on running the football, listen, Tierra, don't make me mad tonight, Tierra, don't make me mad. You know I'm butchering that. Listen, I can't pronounce shit. I can't pronounce them, okay? Just understand. I'm a name butcher, that's what I do. There were a lot of guys that were actually better than Zeke Elliott was last year. Zeke didn't seem to have that big burst where a lot of those ones where he got like 15, 16 yards that he used to get like 25, 30 yards or even taking it to the house. But yes, Jason Garrett caught. And here's the thing, Alan, Jason Garrett cost us in that game. We also didn't have Lyle Collins in that game. We didn't have Tyron Smith. Amari Cooper got hurt in the first quarter on the second play. The officials screwed us over. Because here's the difference. Now take a look at this. When you think about that game and the way that Dak was being jacked up, literally, he got hit in the back of the head, and unlike Carson Wentz, he kept playing. But you look at this. Let's flip cameras here. You look at what Tom Brady gets for calls.
7. Stands in the pocket, throws.
He gets unnecessary roughness. Take a look at this. This is one of the ones that kills me.
Now this gives the Chiefs sack specialist. Oh, there is a flag.
Defense number 95.
Roughing the passer.
15-yard penalty. Automatic
Watch
first
this
down.
thing again.
To the face.
Look, they're going to show
To
it
the
closer
helmet
here.
by Chris Jones.
He's reaching over. And Chris Jones in the middle, you're going to see him push the pocket on Tooney.
That was pass interference. Did you see it? Did you see it? That was pass. I mean, unnecessary roughness. Unnecessary roughness on the passer.
And right there, he slaps.
Can you believe that?
That looks
Right where?
He's still
similar to the one
upright.
earlier where he didn't hit him.
Unnecessary roughness on the passer.
I think that's the same thing that happened to Mahomes earlier.
With Trey Flowers.
Yep.
7.
So,
Stands in the pocket and throws. Intended for
in
Edelman,
retrospect,
no
hold
flag.
it. Let me see if I can find the clip real quick. I can't find it right now. Damn it. Yeah, I can't find. I'm sorry, I can't find it. But if you go back and look for him, Dak Prescott was getting. I mean, a guy lifted him up and drove him into the ground. And you know, if you're talking about getting 15 yards penalties on some of these calls where they are like, you know, third down and we should have had a first down, all of a sudden that game, which was a 24-22, is not a loss. Do I think Dak will be our future, or do you think he is out of here after the? Well, Colin, I was actually going to save this for another video, but here's the thing. Here's the thing as far as Dak Prescott goes. The Cowboys have screwed the pooch. Well, Manuel, I'm actually thinking about doing a contest here. I haven't cut my hair since the coronavirus, okay? And so I'm trying to decide if I should cut it or if I should let it keep growing. So we're going to probably do a little contest or something or other and figure out what we're going to do with it. Because it actually is not that bad tonight because it got rained on, so it's kind of laying down. But here's the thing. The Cowboys have screwed up royally. They got nobody else to blame. I tell you, let me put it, you know, I got stories. I'm that old guy, that old grandfather that's always got a story with everything. I have my red truck. My red truck, you know, big red that Jet D has right now. Big red I've had since 2005. I bought it new. I put 280,000 miles on it, building everything in the world. In fact, when I was cleaning it out, it was like an archaeological dig because I was finding stuff from different jobs that I did. It's like, oh, I remember that. Oh man, damn, I remember that one. And I knew I needed to get another truck because I need to get one that was better on gas because I do a lot of driving. And that one got like 11 miles a gallon. Doesn't matter if you had, you know, nothing on the back or if you're driving in a highway to see, it always got 11 miles a gallon. And so I started looking at Carvana, damn. But I hate buying stuff online because I can't really see it, to touch it and all that. You know, I'm a hands-on kind of guy. So I've been looking and looking for, you know, used trucks on Carvana. And the prices of them were like 26, 27, 28,000 for, you know, ones that were like 2-3 years old. And I was like, man, that was really high. Then the coronavirus hit, right? And the first couple of weeks, all of a sudden, those trucks that were like 26, 27 were like 20, 21. I'm like, man, that's a great price for those things. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna wait and see what happens with the coronavirus and try and pay down some bills before I try and buy this truck. And I waited to make the deal. I waited, and then I went back on there. And the trucks that were 20 and 21 were now like 25 and 26. They were still cheaper than they were before the coronavirus, but the prices had gone up. And it was like, well, damn, I don't want it for that. I want it for the price that was over there. I want it for the 2021. I don't want it for 25. Doesn't matter. You should have got it when it was 21,000. Now it's 25. You better go ahead and get it now while it's 25 because it might be 27 next week. You missed out on that. It cost you money because you didn't act when you should have. And that's the Dallas Cowboys. I sat here literally the end of the 2018 season. I said, you have got to get this deal done before Russell Wilson. People say, oh, you can't pay that. Dak needs to prove it. He got to prove that he's a quarterback. It doesn't matter. Prove it. When you prove it and show that you're worth it, it's going to cost you more money. So with this year being you had the tag, 31.2, and the way you have to look at this is it's not 31.2. If you're talking about a long-term deal, 31.2 plus 37.8, which means that the starting point has to be 35. Now the problem is because the Cowboys, whatever reason, okay, pride, we're not going to overpay. We got to understand. Got to understand. You got to leave money on the table. Okay, good luck with that. Because now next year, here's the problem for next year. Next year, 37.8 and 54. 2 years. The average of that is 45. Next year, you're looking at a deal now that's going to be $45 million. So the Cowboys, they screwed the pooch. And the longer they wait to do this, the more it'll cost. I know everybody's saying, football, the cap's going to take a hit. Yeah, okay. Well, I'm going to tell you that they will get creative with this whole thing. I don't think it's going to take as much of a hit as you think. And the reason being is right now, we're going crazy about the idea that tomorrow, Cowboys rookies are going to be reporting. It may not be fans in the stand. We hear the Raiders basically saying there's not going to be people in the stands. Most teams, New York Jets, the Giants, New Jersey's already said you're not going to be allowed to have fans there. Baltimore, I think, is saying maybe 25,000. We're not going to see big crowds anywhere. But if they're not at the stadium, they're going to be watching. And this is where television is all of a sudden going to be different. And this is actually going to be, this is what, Randy, you hit the nail on the head. You hit the nail on the head because, see, right now, you don't know how many of the shows are going to be in full swing for the fall season. Especially if college football doesn't happen and the NFL takes over that Saturday, oh my God. Even if the NFL puts scab players out there, we will be watching football like crazy, like never before. And this is what's going to be cool. I started thinking about this today and talking about with Michael. I don't know if I talked about it on a video. What will be cool is, and if the NFL was smart, they'd be miking up more guys. This is an opportunity because you won't have the crowd noise. You're going to hear everything. You are going to literally hear, you're going to hear the calls of the field, blue 98, blue 98. You're going to hear crunch. You're going to hear the crunches. You're going to hear people cussing out people, suck this, you're going to hear more stuff. The action is probably going to be, did I just swallow a what? A loogie? Maybe, I don't know. I sniffled, okay. Yeah, maybe I did. I don't know. I do so many things, I don't know what I'm doing. But anyway, you're going to hear so much more than you've ever heard before. You don't think the NFL will compete this season? Well, I don't know. I'm actually thinking a little bit differently on this because the way they're making this, they've actually got all kinds of proposals out there. One of the ones is being able to take practice squad players as close as 90 minutes to actually be on your game roster. They're going to increase your practice squad to like 16 players. You don't think there'll be a football? I don't know about that, Timothy. See, here's what they're doing. See, like tomorrow. Here's what happens tomorrow. Cowboys rookies report. They report and get a test. They're not allowed into facilities. They're going to get a test on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and if they pass all of those, then come Saturday, they're allowed to start working out.
Yeah, it's all about this.
Okay? So it's going to be test. And what they're going to be doing is they will be testing players every single day. Every single day, unless they end up having less than 5% positives. If that ends up being the case, then they'll drop it down to every other day. So they are literally saying that if you got coronavirus or you test positive, you're not getting into facilities. So in essence, you may actually be safer playing football than being anywhere else. Now the question is are you hunkering down with your family and just doing football? Because see, here's the difference. I don't think I've had corona. Well, although I do. I actually think I got corona when I was down in Miami. But here's what I've been doing personally. I've been home. I've been going to Home Depot on a regular basis, but I've been wearing a mask. Okay. I go to the grocery store, but I wear a mask. I got my sprays, clean all my shit. Don't touch my face when I'm out. Okay. And I drink rum, and hopefully the rum's helping to kill any bacteria that gets on in me. And I've been good with that. But I'm not going out to a restaurant to eat. Okay? I still believe that when you go into a restaurant, that when everybody's in there without a mask on, that their air is all circulating in there and becoming, a petri dish. Because all that air is getting drawn back into the heating and air conditioning system and being blown back out. I really believe that's where people are getting it more than anything else. I go for walks on the parkway every day, on the bike trail. I don't wear, and I'll be honest, I don't wear my mask all the time when I'm on the trail, but when somebody else is coming the other direction, I step off the trail, let them go past. I'm careful. If you get players that have the mentality of, I'm going to be at home with my family and I'm only going to do football, then you have a chance. Because it only takes one person being out with somebody else to bring it back in there. When the Rams offensive lineman said, I think somebody went out to lunch with somebody else, they got it, he ended up getting it, his wife got it, his kids got it, his in-laws get it. It only takes you being around one person. So if the players realize, I am basically on submarine duty for the season. I'm doing football and I'm doing my family. And that's it. There's a chance. But if you get guys that are like, you know what, there ain't nothing to this thing. I'm going to go out and we're going to have a party. We're going to get some women and we're going, then we're going to hang out at the club. Then you're not going to have a season. So that'll be the question. Is how serious they take it. Because in the state that I live in, we were getting, Baltimore, D.C., Pennsylvania, that whole East Coast, New York, New Jersey thing. It started out in March pretty heavy. They locked shit down. We had a curfew. Said wear a mask. Now our rate, where we were like 35%, we're like 2.5%. It's been slowed. So, it's all up to the players. Why are you trying to make Dak take a deal he didn't want? The problem is because the Cowboys lowballed Dak in 2019. And we don't, and Miss Jackie, you're right. We don't have the details on that because, see, you hear what the Cowboys want you to hear. Because remember we heard that, Dak wants $40 million? That's not what he wanted. He was looking at 35. You don't know what the guaranteed money were, or you don't know how the language in the deal and stuff was or anything like that. We all hear, it was $100 million. Yeah, well, why should he take less money than Jared Goff or Carson Wentz, who got their deal a year before? Understand, just 5 years ago, $20 million was the pinnacle. Drew Brees. And for all those that say, oh, well, Dak Prescott didn't deserve to be the highest paid. So are you saying that after Drew Brees, that Jimmy Garoppolo deserved to be that highest paid one? Are you saying that Matthew Stafford deserved to be that highest paid one? Are you saying that Andrew Luck deserved to be that highest paid one? Are you saying that Kirk frickin' Cousins deserved to be a fully guaranteed highest paid quarterback in the NFL? Because all of those things happened. All of those things happened. And it's amazing how everybody talks about how greedy Dak Prescott's greedy. He's greedy. You mean the guy that only made $4 million over 4 years? Yeah, he's really greedy. You would think that that money was coming out of your pocket. You would think that you are literally the one that has to. Damn, Dak, bro, you taking too much of my cheddar. That's the way some of you guys act. So next year, the problem is going to be is it's in the 40s. The deal's going to end up being in the 40s. Sorry. It's the nature of the beast. I can guarantee you that Deshaun Watson is not taking less than 40. The deal the Cowboys were offering was a deal back in 2018 they were offering in 2019 a year later. Yeah. Have to remember $33 million is not the same in most states. That's true too. If Dak gets 12 wins, Bill Gates wouldn't be able to afford him in 2021. You might be right on that one. I just hope for a great year for his sake. Timothy, I'm just telling you. Well, and again, you know, they're young guys. They're going to do what they're going to do. I know they're going to do what they're going to do. But the thing is you got to figure out what's important to you. Because this is an opportunity. I'm going to tell you. Look, think about this. This year is an opportunity that you will never have again. So if you're playing in Seattle, you're not playing against the 12th man. If you're going to Philadelphia, you don't have to worry about the batteries hitting you upside the head. This is an opportunity that, you know what, if we can keep our team healthy and whole, other teams might not be able to. This is an opportunity to say, we might have a chance to go through. It's going to be depth that's going to make the difference for this year for teams, literally. If you can stay healthy and keep your players on the field, you got a really good chance of running all the way. Jerry would be miles ahead and make Jimmy Johnson the general manager. Oh, my God. Don't even bring up that one. See, and this is the other thing, too, that when we come down to Dak Prescott, if we were, let's say this, it would be different if we were like New England. If we were New England and we had a track record of winning 6 Super Bowls with Tom Brady, now Dak Prescott's the quarterback, right? And you have 4 years where, you know, now it's kind of gone downhill. It's not the same as it was with Tom Brady, right? You could look and say, you know, we used to be up here. Now Dak is here and we're down here. That's not the case. We ain't been up here like that since the 90s. You got to look at the whole thing in totality, from the coaching to the defense to the ownership to the deals that they made. The Cowboys, you know, it's amazing that they made deals for like Jay Ratcliffe, for Miles Austin, for Marion Barber back in the day where they hamstrung. You can understand if they said, you know what, we're not going to do that stuff again and we're going to change things. You can understand if they didn't pay Dak, if they didn't play D-Law, if they didn't play Zeke Elliott. But to turn around and pay those guys just about max contracts and then to turn around with your quarterback who is the money guy, and not pay him, it just doesn't make sense. Now, here's what's interesting, because people will look at Dak and say, well, the Cowboys aren't winning. Dak got empty yards. If you say that Dak Prescott got empty yards, you could probably say the same thing then about Russell Wilson. Because I want you to think about this. When Seattle was winning Super Bowls, let me make sure I pull up the numbers. So, understand, here's what's amazing. When Seattle won the Super Bowl, Russell Wilson, 63.1% completion percentage, right? 3,357 yards, 26 TDs, 9 interceptions. His rating, 101.2. His QBR, 66.8. It's not exactly earth-shattering numbers, is it? Not when you compare to 4,000 yards, 4,110, 31 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, a rating of 106, and a QBR of 78. When you see those numbers, which one of those make you think that would be a Super Bowl winning team? He throws 5 more touchdowns, 4 less interceptions, throws a half yard more per pass, has a higher QBR, has a higher rating. Russell Wilson is doing a lot more now, yet we beat him in the playoffs the year before. That alone should let you know that it's more than just the quarterback. Because nobody says, oh, well, Russell Wilson didn't do the job. They didn't go to the Super Bowl last year. He had better numbers than he had, about 700 yards more than he had when they won a Super Bowl. The difference is he doesn't have beast mode anymore. Difference is he doesn't have the number 1 defense anymore. But nobody holds that against him. Dak Prescott gets lit up, doesn't get calls. We get calls like tripping against us. We end up having an idiot coach that runs on first down Zeke Elliott up the middle, knowing that we're not successful in it. Howard Floyd, thank you very much. How come no one is talking about Matthew Stafford? He ain't more. Howard. I've been talking about him. He's made $203 million. Matthew Stafford. And here's the thing. Listen, Kirk freaking Cousins, who had more turnovers in the fourth quarter last year than anyone, right now is guaranteed to make over $200 million. He's guaranteed to make over $150 million just from the Vikings. And we're crying about, $110 million guaranteed for Dak Prescott, who already has been playing for 4 years for $4 million. That's changing Black Tiger. Black Tiger? I'm lost in that one. Randy Sykes, you okay? Randy, what's wrong with Randy? Randy. What? Randy, I hope you're okay. Oh, Achilles tendonitis. Oh, damn. I hope you don't rupture that sucker, Randy. Damn. Ice, baby. Keep it ice, man, and stretch it out. Haley wore 94. Yes. I also wore 94, by the way, too, Miss Nita. At JMU, I wore 94. That's why it's Mark Holmes at Gmail. Gmail. 94. You said, yeah, 94. That was my number, too. Tony, what's up? What's good? Just sitting here enjoying being here with some of my friends. Tomorrow we have our rookies reporting to the Star to get their COVID tests tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And if they pass all those come Saturday, they'll actually be able to start going into the facility and working out. So hopefully that works out well. The veterans don't report until August 1st. So we'll get the rookies getting going. working and hopefully getting themselves together. Then we get the veterans in there starting the first. And it's kind of amazing when you think that we were supposed to be playing August 6th for the Hall of Fame game, which kind of sucks. You played with nose guards too? Hey, Robbie, I was a nose guard back in the day, man. And that's, I ain't going to lie to you. That is a brutal position to be, Robbie. You know it is. You get hit from so many different directions. It's not even funny, man. But that spot is key because you're getting double teamed by the guard in the center, or you're getting guard in the center, or you're getting the fullbacks coming to get you, or you got the tackle. Oh, my God, when the tackle comes down, you even got the wham block. Stop yelling and Marky making me tired. Stop yelling, and Marky making me tired. Brian, you want me to stop yelling? You want me to stop yelling? I'm sorry. I'm hanging in there, Yucky. I played those tackles. Alan, you know what it's like, too. You get, and see, times have changed. See, back in our days in high school, they used to cut block. They would go for your knees. They would hide low you. I played offense. I played guard and on offense in high school, and that's exactly what we did. You'd have the center post the guy up, and you're supposed to dive at the guy's knees. That's what we were taught. It was crazy what we used to do back in the day. All the Cowboys contracts, 8 players out the media. Okay, wake up, Cowboys Nation. We have not been great at getting quarterbacks, not in the least. Oh my God. We you know what, Miss Jackie, we got spoiled getting Tony Romo and then Dak Prescott. Do I think Gallimore? You know what? I'm hoping that Gallimore definitely does a lot better than Tristan Hill does. Gallimore was the. Okay, here's what's funny. There was actually a great article today because getting Gallimore in the 3rd round, they're basically saying that was a steal. Gallimore was the guy I was looking at and saying, when I look at the draft, I look at it this way. If you are one of those later picks, you got to figure that quarterbacks, your top 3, at least 2 quarterbacks are going to go in the 1st round. You know that left tackles are going to go. 3 of those guys are going to go. You know that edge rushers are going to go. So like 3 of those are going to go. Cornerbacks are going to go. There's certain positions that don't get drafted high in the draft. Safety is one of those ones. Interior defensive lineman is another one. So the way I look at it is this. If you're drafting a cornerback and you're in the later half of the 1st round, your best bet is to be able to get like the 3rd or the 4th best guy at best. But if you're looking at a safety, if you're looking at interior defensive lineman, one of those guys, more than likely you're going to get like one of the top 2. And that's where I looked at it, and I was looking at it, it's like, you got no chance to get a Chase Young, okay? If you're thinking about a quarterback, unless you're trading up in the top 5, you're not getting one of those guys. But defensive linemen and interior ones, that's where I said, Gallimore to me looked like the best interior defensive line because the guy has speed. He's 310 pounds. But he moves like he's a ballerina, stepwise. He's fast, he's agile. And when he hits you with a ton of bricks. And that's where I was saying I'd love to see that guy on our interior defensive line because he's big, he's strong, he's fast. He's a Canadian Bullfrog. The Devil Gilmore. Yeah, he'll be like the Tasmanian Devil. But to me, that's the thing that's been missing on this defensive lineman. The Cowboys have not been looking at the interior defensive line forever. It's been an afterthought. And Rod Marnelli's Tampa 2 defense was antiquated. His whole thing was, I'll get guys that are really fast and we'll just run around people. But what we learned is you need that guy in the middle that can do that dirty work. That guy that can go ahead and just kind of get that push and get into the quarterback face. Can we check out Marvin Wilson on stream? Okay. That's good, Gregory. Stop doing contracts in public. Oh, my God, Miss Jackie. That whole thing. Nobody does this. The thing is, Miss Jackie, you know how we talk every day. You know how it is. It hurts sometimes being a Dallas Cowboy fan. We do things that nobody else does. Nobody else does contracts like the Cowboys do out in public, where basically we trash the player. We make them seem like they're greedy. They're not a team player or things like that. It makes
Why in the hell would the Dallas Cowboys do this? Seriously. Seriously.
You didn't listen to me last week.
You're going to bring...
Seriously, it's hard sometimes when you're a Cowboy fan, because it's just like, what are you doing? Why do we do this whole thing with the contracts in public? I guess because, well, it brings attention. But the thing that still amazes me is, has anybody seen Jerry Jones? Jerry Jones. This is the longest Jerry Jones has gone without making a statement in forever. He's been called out by some of his new players. Dontari Poe. He's been called out by Gerald McCoy. And he said nothing. Devontae Griffin, no. Rookies aren't practicing tomorrow. Tomorrow, the rookies are coming for their first COVID test. Then come Wednesday, they'll come in for the second COVID test. Then come Thursday, they'll come in for their third COVID test. And then come Friday, they will come in for their fourth one. If they pass all four, then they're actually able to enter the STAR. They won't actually be on the field or actually working out. Updates-wise, well, here's what they've done, Gregory. Last week, Utley, I think it's Utley, I may have butchered that up too. Utley basically has come up with another face shield. And I tell you what, Utley, I wish I had the videotapes from the Super Bowl. Utley had this big, truck that was like incredible, where you could go in and they were showing you examples about what they're doing with the face shields and how lightweight they are and everything else, and how shock resistant the things are. They come up with new face shields. Basically, they look the same to me, but it looks like they come down a little lower in the helmet. And what they do is hopefully help to keep some of that in. I don't know how much you can truly keep in if you're tackling somebody. It's one of those things with the best thing you can do is make sure they don't have when they get on the field. So they've sent those to each of the players. Jerry Jones and wife are breaking in the yacht. Okay. Well, that yacht's already been broken. It was in Miami. I saw it in Miami. That bad boy's huge. So how many tests? They will be doing 4 tests before they're able to actually start working out. And for the first 2 weeks, they will be doing a test every single day with all the players. If they have less than 5% positive test, then the tests will start going to every other day. Zeke fan, man, where you been? Why you been off YouTube for a while, man? YouTube is what's been keeping us all together, man, through this whole coronavirus. So that's where they're doing. They're going to be testing the hell out of people, and they're going to make sure before they start letting them come into the facilities that they've passed 4 tests before then. Manuel, I agree with you on that one, because you're talking about sweat, you're talking about blood. I mean, when you play football, Eddie, how are you doing, Eddie? When you play football, you got guys hocking on the field. You got guys that are cut and bleeding. You got sweat. It's just like you got bodily fluids and secretions that are just flying all over the place. Yeah, Antonio Brown is retiring for the 3rd time since September. Yeah, we've all heard that. That's one of those ones that, I tell you what that's like. If you do the Facebook, right? Is it one? No. Amadeus? No. They're because here's the thing with Corona. They say you can test fine today and tomorrow you test, and you got it tomorrow. So that's why they're doing 4 days of testing to make sure before they let them into facilities. Dak will not play for the Bears. You know what? These days, I think if you have the right amount of money, yeah. AB has said he's retiring again. If you've ever been on Facebook and you have somebody that says, I'm leaving Facebook, okay, so I just want to say goodbye. Listen, if you're leaving Facebook, just leave Facebook. Because then what happens, everybody, oh, no, don't leave, please, don't leave Facebook. You're my friend. Come on, stay on Facebook. I can't believe you're leaving. Okay, I'll stay. Your dog is pregnant and you've been taking care of her? Aw, that's good. Any news on Leighton Vander Esch health-wise? Supposedly he's 100% healed and doing great, but the training staff, of course, has not been able to actually verify that. He had 5 sacks last year as a defensive tackle, yeah, which is great. Because, see, you got to understand with the defense, this is the thing that people don't understand. Because they'll look at a guy and say, oh, well, interior defense, he only got 3 sacks on the season. You have to understand what your job is as a defensive tackle or a nose tackle like we used to be. Your job is not to get the glory. Your job is to clog up the middle. Seriously. Your number one thing is keep the linebackers clean. Keep the linebackers clean. Take on the double team, and when you're taking on that double team, you drop the anchor and you get on the ground. You clog up the middle. If the running back has to run on top of you, then you did your job. Your job is not to go. I found out the hard way. I literally got my ass chewed and cussed out. Okay? See, this is back in the day before, when coaches, they could say anything they wanted to you. But in a JV scrimmage that we had at JMU, okay? I missed it. Vash Lombardi killed 500 Lord. It's not hard to do that with the Carson Wentz debate. I'm sorry, Carson Wentz. We can look at Carson Wentz and know that he can't make it through a playoff game. Carson, I'm sorry, he's overrated. But here's the thing. They shaded us in the defense. Okay, shading meaning you slipped to the center of the nose is the middle of the guy's face, okay? When you're shaded, that means you're to one side or the other. You're shading, okay? They shaded me into the gap, right? And what I was doing is I literally shot between the center and the guard. I got into the quarterback's hip pocket, and I sacked him. Right? I'm feeling good. Like, oh, my God. I literally just zipped right between the two of them, got right behind the quarterback, got to the quarterback while he was still faking the dive, and took him down. We stopped him on 3rd down. I'm going on the sidelines. I'm like, yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. And the coach is, Hose, get your ass over here. I'm like, yeah, buddy. He's congratulating me. He says, what the hell are you doing? I was like, I'm taking the quarterback down to the ground, coach. I took him. Well, we stopped him on 3rd down. He said, I don't give a rat's ass about you tackling the quarterback. What did you do? I said, hey, I shot the gap, coach. I went ahead, took the quarterback down on the ground. What is your job? I thought, get the quarterback. He said, your job is not to get the damn glory. That's what my linebackers are for. Your job is to make sure they stay clean so they can scrape, so they can blitz, they can rush, that they are unmolested, and you let them expose. Sit your ass down on the bench. I'm like, the fuck? But that's what your job is. If you get a sack after you do your job, hey, great. Brady, how you doing, man? Glad you're checking in. Your job is to get that push in the middle and not let those offensive linemen off. Because, see, the guards, they're basically, if you're in a 50 defense where you're over lined up, those guards are trying to get the linebackers. You want Jalen Smith, you want Leighton Vander Esch to be clean, to be able to read the play and make the moves. And to do that, you need that offensive line occupied. So when you get that double team, They teach you bend the knee, drop the shoulder, turn sideways so you don't have a big target, and hit the ground. Because if you're on the ground, it's hard to push you out of there. And if you've got those two guys on you, then that means the defensive ends have one-on-one. The linebackers can make the moves. And that's the way you have to understand that at defense. Because hypothetically, okay, I make a move. Here's the problem. I make a move like that, and let's say the quarterback hands the ball off to the running back. The center and the guard get out to the linebackers. Now there's a wide open lane, and the guy goes right down the field. It only takes one guy to mess up on a defense for the play to go all the way. And you have to be disciplined. But the Cowboys haven't believed in that guy. And you saw from the Rams game in the playoffs where the Rams literally lined up and they just bludgeoned us to death, where we had small guys and we didn't have the guys in the middle that could hold up. And so that's where getting Dontari Poe and getting Gallimore, who hopefully can learn some stuff from Dontari Poe, who's young and strong and tough, can clog up that middle. I'm excited about that because we haven't had somebody since the big cat, Leon Lett, in the middle that's just been a lights out type of player. So I'm looking forward to that. So I'm hoping that Gallimore ends up being more than they anticipated and say, hey, we got to start this guy. Eddie, please let Jason Garrett go, man. Eddie, come on, Eddie. You know, Jason Garrett might be our MVP this year with the Giants. I'm just trying to understand how, you know, they got Cooper Rush and they got Colt McCoy as backups. They got Redskin trash and Cowboys trash for backups for a trash quarterback. It just amazes me. It just amazes me. But I need a laugh here. Well, that's a good question about Antoine Woods. Basically, the reality is he's either playing for the Cowboys or he's playing for nobody. Why he hasn't signed it yet, or if he's not going to sign it, it doesn't matter because the Cowboys will still own his race next year if he doesn't sign it now. Different atmosphere this year. Wentz love. Oh, you know I love Wentz, and you know I love my boy Philly.
Does anybody know? Did anybody just watch? Am I the only person? Do I speak dog?
Yes, you do.
Rough, mother humper. 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 I mean,
this is where I was saying earlier.
What is Carr supposed to do? Urge
Okay.
drop the ball in the end zone
earlier. Now the only thing.
Well, Manuel, nobody. Listen, you got to understand. It's a restricted tender. He's a restricted free agent. He has no. He can't go anywhere else unless the Cowboys allow him to go someplace else. A video of the guy that ended Dak's contract dreams right there. Okay, Mark is the best. That's hilarious. The thing is, when we think about our defensive line, there's actually going to be, we actually have more beef on the defensive line than ever right now this year. And there's going to end up being, we've got more people than we have slots right now. We got Ain signed today. Of course, you got Tyrone Crawford, who I really believe that Tyrone Crawford may be on the bubble, because if the NFL is serious about getting money on the cap reduced, you look at Tyrone Crawford and say, that's $8.5 million we can save on Tyrone Crawford. And you start thinking that you got Gerald McCoy. You end up having, of course, Aldon Smith. You've got Gallimore. You've got Dontari Poe. You got Bradley Ain. You've got D-Law. You got a lot of guys. You got more space, more people than spaces to put them in. They shouldn't be able to run the ball on us. We definitely have a lot more beef than we've had in a long, long time. Too bad you can't go to AT&T Stadium. Well, it is what it is. What's up with the rookies? The rookies will show up tomorrow for the first of 4 consecutive days of COVID testing. If they pass all 4 days come Saturday, they will be actually allowed to work out at the Star. So that's what's setting up. Right now, the NFL and the NFLPA are still trying to work out exactly. Mark, do a cap summary video so you know where you stand. Well, right now, I can tell you right now where we stand. We actually have $11.4 million, which is already baked into what it's going to cost to the rookies. The rookies are already slotted. So at the moment, with Dak Prescott and everything else, we have $11.4 million. Now, that's going to change because some of the players that are on the roster right now are going to not make the roster. We have 2 kickers right now. We're not keeping both of them. So when you look at it from that standpoint, that's, $1.5 million to $2 million right there you're going to save. If Tyrone Crawford doesn't make the team, then that's, $8.5 million. So at the moment, we're at 11.4. Don't cut Crawford. You got to look at the money, the age, and double hip surgery. Do I think Eli Apple will have a better year? Maybe. Dougie Fresh, are you a doctor? Are you doctor? I saw you with it looked like doctor's gowns and stuff on it. Crawford is a steady lineman. Yes, he was, but last year he ended up having double hip surgery. Double hip surgery. So you got to start wondering, think about it this way. Gerald McCoy is costing half of what Tyrone Crawford. He was severely lifted, but the question is, Tierra, the question is will he have it after the double hip surgery? I trade a pork chop for Will Wentz. Wow. It's not okay. Don't get me wrong. Ants. Tyrone Crawford has 2 Jobu t-shirts, okay? I like Tyrone Crawford. However, Father Time is undefeated when it comes to football. And technically, what you could look at is, who would you rather have? Okay, let me say this one. Who would you rather have? Tyrone Crawford or Emerson Griffin? Tyrone Crawford or Emerson Griffin? Because technically, you could probably sign Emerson Griffin for less than that $8.5 million right now. Just saying, you got to look at these things. CeeDee Lamb, CD looks really good. Did you see my cover picture, Zeke? The cover picture is CD in his jersey, man. That's my cover picture for this video. CD. They may end up using him in all different kinds of ways this year with this whole situation. I'm looking forward to seeing how this offense evolves. The fact that probably we won't be running on first down every first down and things. It's going to be Griffin. See, look, everybody's like Griffin. Oh, really, Griffin? I'm not sure I really want to trade a number 1 plus for Jamal Adams. I'm not sure that. I mean, maybe a number 1 if you think that the team is really going to do really, really well and it's going to be a late one, but that's a lot to give up for one guy, man. We're counting 5 plays. He's never played in a full playoff game. We must be talking about Wentz. Now I did, Mark. Oh, okay. I know Lamb is already okay, come on. Philly. See, why you got to come in here? See, you know what? You make me do things like this.
What? Look at that. What? Did the screen freeze? Is it still light? Look. Looking for the corona. Oh my God! Look at this! Wow, that has to be the stupidest thing I've ever. Oh my God! Are you gonna take?
a quarterback back in the second round.
Oh my God!
Are you kidding me? What did you just trade Carson then? Are you kidding me? You just took a quarterback in the second round. This team is so good.
That's kind of funny, man.
They don't need to take. They don't need anything else, right? They're so good. They don't. This has to be for some sort of trade. There has to be something to this. This don't make any sense. Eagles UK, thank you for the super chat. I'm sorry. This is stupidity at its finest. There has to be something else going on.
You know, that's got to be one of my favorite clips of all time, was seeing them lose it with when they got Jalen Hurts. Well, anyway, guys, I've got to get up early in the morning to get to work and stuff, but I appreciate everybody being up in here. Tomorrow's a big day for our rookies to go through and start getting the COVID test. And hopefully by the weekend, all of them are good to go and ready to go. So get your shot glass ready. Get your shot glass. I've got to upload some new pictures and stuff from you guys that I've gotten. If you became a fan, a channel member, make sure you email me right there, cowboysmark94@gmail, so we can get that together for you. And tomorrow, I'm going to be ordering some new shot glasses. So we're going to have a new style coming out. We need something new, Mark. Let's try coming up with the new troll. Okay, Cowboys for life. But, you know, so many people like the old ones there. I kind of like those. But get your shot glass ready. Thank you very much, Howard Floyd. I appreciate that super chat, man. Dave, I hope you're wrong. everybody. I appreciate everybody being here tonight. Hopefully, we'll be able to, by this weekend, see our players actually working out and on the field and things. Listen, we've been talking about this thing since frickin' March, okay? This shit's real. Do the right thing. Wear your mask. Keep your distance. Let's get this shit together. Let's stop fighting amongst each other. It's time for us to start being Americans together and looking out for all of our well-being. All right? This one is to all you great fans, and I'm going to see you guys later because it's time to turn off the lights.
The party's over. They say that all good things must end. Call it a night. The party's over. And tomorrow and next year starts the same old thing again.